Morning, Mumbai. Can you hear me? Fantastic. It is a great pleasure to be here. I've only been here for a few hours and I already have lots of friends in the audience, so thank you for your very warm welcome. I bet you're thinking, another talk on AI? What is this guy going to tell me about AI that we haven't heard already, that I haven't learned? But I'm going to try and do things a little differently today. And I intend to talk not only about what AI can do, but about what it can't. And how we can use a little bit of our HI in the application of AI to ensure we get really impactful results. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Benjamin. I am the CEO and founder of Learnlight. Our mission is to build master communicators for the global workplace. And I founded this company 15 years ago. Now, 15 years ago was the advent of online. Do you remember that? Everyone was talking about online. Were we going to learn from computers or were we going to learn from trainers? Is it trainers or is it technology? Now, my thought was, it's not trainers or technology, it's trainers and technology. And when you combine incredible learning technology with the world's best trainers, that's when you generate true learning impact. Now, 15 years later, I'm being forced to ask myself that question again. Is that still the case? Or now, with AI, are trainers becoming more obsolete? Can they do more of the work? So, in this presentation, I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we think, what we've been working on, and what we've learned. But before we do that, I want to do some old school kind of learning, a little bit of social learning. So I'm going to ask you to speak to the person next to you, introduce yourself in a minute, not quite yet. You're going to introduce yourself to the person next to you, and I've got two little exercises for you. And the first one is this. I was building this presentation and I thought, who am I to tell you about AI? I'm going to go online and I'm going to find the greatest minds in technology and the greatest minds in education, and I am going to ask them, I'm going to see their quotes. What do they say about AI and the future of learning? So I went online and I found some really good quotes, but then I thought, oh, this could be fun. I'll ask ChatGPT what they think about the future of AI and education. So what you're going to see on the next slide is 5 quotes. 3 of those quotes are from human beings, and 2 are from ChatGPT. Now, your task with the person next to you, who you're going to introduce yourself to, you've got 60 seconds, and I want you to tell me which ones are from humans and which ones are not. Okay, so I can't see a lot of collaboration going on. You're talking to the people next to you here, trying to figure it out. All right, so we haven't got a huge amount of time. Were any of you able to identify for sure any of the human ones? Yes. 1, 3, and 4. Let's see. Oh, very close. Good try. Congratulations. So here you can see some of what the thought leaders are saying about AI and the future of AI in education. Now, I want to take this a step further because I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about you. I want you to look back on your life and think about a transformational learning experience, an aha moment, something that changed the way you live today, a before and an after, right? Something you learned, something impactful. So think about what that was, what the context was, who you were with, right? And you've got 60 seconds to share that with the person next to you. Your most transformational learning experience. 60 seconds starting now. Please share. Oh. If you're not sitting next to anyone, you can reflect. But if you are, share it. Okay. Can I bring you back for a minute? Great to see you having those conversations, but I'm going to cut you short because I have a question. I have a question for all of you. If that learning experience, your most transformational learning experience, involved another human being, can you raise your hand? Very interesting. And it's interesting to see that pretty much everybody's transformational learning experience involved another human being. And that's because we learn by imitating, right? Animals, children, from the very beginning. That's why if you say to your child, hey, you should read and you should do sports, but you spend the whole day on the sofa watching telly, is your child going to play sports? Are they going to read? No, they're not, because they learn by imitation, right? And this is a fundamental piece of what we do. So at the end of the day, do we think humans will imitate AI? Is that the future? Or do we think they will continue to imitate other humans? Now, I'm here today to talk about communication skills training, right? And that is the art of projecting your message to the people that you're with. So I want to start by defining what I mean by that, right? What is communicating effectively across multicultural and multilingual teams? Well, we believe that's based on three things: understanding, empathy, and connection. Understanding is language proficiency. If I was delivering this presentation right now in Japanese, probably wouldn't be connecting in the same way, right? The second is intercultural awareness. How do your audience think? What are their cultural beliefs? What is important for them? Am I speaking their cultural language? And the third is interpersonal skills. Am I communicating with clarity? So if you combine understanding, empathy, and connection, then you can create truly effective communication across multicultural, multilingual teams. So how can AI help? Well, I'm not going to do lots of technical stuff. Everybody's done that. But I do have a few reflections. It can help in the assessment piece, assessing strengths and weaknesses. We've spoken a lot about those models. Obviously, you can build personalized learning journeys at scale and make this a truly personalized experience. You can resolve queries of pretty much any kind, source information, guide people to what they need when they need it. That's fundamental. You can correct and enhance written communication. You can guide people through their learning journey. And you can provide a safe space for people to practice with AI avatars. Now, this is perhaps where there's most hype right now. Hey, what are the avatars going to do? Are they going to replace human beings? Am I going to disappear? Will I be a hologram in 3 years' time standing here? What can they actually do and how far can they go? Well, we've been working with Oxford University to try and build the world's greatest professional English language learning solution. And we've looked at everything. We looked at methodology, we looked at trainers, we looked at content, we looked at certification, and we worked with some of the greatest academic minds in the world in Oxford to build this solution. And one of the things we were focusing on was AI. Can we build the world's greatest AI language trainer? And we put a lot of time and thought into that. And when you see the results, it's a little frightening. You can have a conversation with this chap, no problem. Structured conversation, open conversation. Not only that, but they will give you targeted feedback. They will give you recommendations for your personalized learning journey. They will give you vocabulary recommendations. They will point you to the right places for what you need to learn. They will remember you when you come back and ask you what you did last Sunday and how your football match was, if you spoke about that. So when you look at that, you would say, well, why do we need trainers? I mean, this does everything, right? And I would say that's wrong, because when we think about communication and when we think about education, what does that really mean? What are we really trying to do? And in order to encapsulate that, I'd like to quote someone far wiser than myself. And I think when we think about the holistic importance of education and what we're trying to do, it's not just acquiring knowledge. We're teaching people how to be, how to exist, how to communicate. And for that, there is nothing more important than the human factor. There are lots of things technology can do, but there are lots of things it can't. I want to start with this, because this is a super important one, right? There's this assumption that if something is possible, people will do it. So can you learn a language with AI? Yes, you can. Will you? Can you get in shape without going to the gym and without a personal coach? Yes, theoretically you can. Is it more probable you will get in shape if you have someone you run with in the mornings or if you have a personal coach? This is the biggest problem people have: motivation, engagement, and commitment. How many of you have deployed huge digital learning archives that have not been used? Anyone done that? Anyone experienced that? Right, and AI can't fix that, right? Not yet. So this is a huge one, right? Inspiration, being a role model, right? Someone people can look up to, someone people can aspire to be, someone they can want to become, something they can mold their future upon. And confidence. People need confidence. I was in a meeting with a client in Hyderabad last week, and they were telling me how they had tens of thousands of incredibly talented engineers who were doing all the real work for this multinational, but they didn't have the confidence to get up and speak or to interact in these global meetings. They were missing the confidence, so they were not being recognized. And the question is, how can we get them the skills that they deserve so they can shine? And one of the things they need is the confidence to stand up somewhere like this and speak. Of course, complex scenarios which AI can't deal with, and ethical and cultural considerations. And there are more things that AI struggles with. So 70% of communication is nonverbal. Not all of that is recognized yet by AI. It's moving, but the way I say things, not just what I say, are silence. All of these things impact communication, right? And that's something that, for the moment, cannot be done with AI. And finally, we all know the blockers, what we're struggling with: data protection, governance, integration challenges, limited creativity, flexibility, energy consumption. The amount of energy that is being consumed right now. Did you see Google's just gone nuclear? Did everybody see that? They're signing up to nuclear energy so they can power the AI to actually make all of this happen. So there are lots of blockers that we still need to look for, and adoption. Now, I've been building learning technology for the last 15 years, And we've spent millions on learning technology. We've had a really good time. Lots of engineers, lots of cool tech. Now, when I go back and I ask the learners, what do you remember about your learning journey? Pretty much all of them say, oh, John from Wales was amazing. He really helped me get up to my level. He gave me the confidence I need to. They don't talk about our AI-powered vocabulary engine, which irritates me because it was really expensive. And they don't talk about it, right? They talk about the trainer, and they talk about the experience, the human experience which they had. So, as AI takes over more of our lives, human connection becomes increasingly important, and soft skills become the currency of future leaders. And we get lost in the tech, sometimes, right? So I would ask you, what do all of these amazing technology companies have in common? Anyone got it? Anyone know? At the end of each experience, there's a human being. We're using this technology to connect to another human being. That's the end game, right? And that is going to continue to be an essential human need. So I was lucky enough to live in India 30 years ago for 2 years, and I learned many truly amazing things in this country that have made me, to a certain extent, the man I am today. None of them from AI, by the way. That was 30 years ago. But I asked myself, I challenged myself, hey, I should be able to come up with something culturally relevant to describe this. And I was thinking, what could I do? So I decided I'd ask ChatGPT a question. And I asked ChatGPT, I said, hey, can you give me a metaphor for how AI is going to affect communication skills training based on Indian mythology? And this is what I got. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna represents the student facing challenges, while Krishna embodies wisdom and guidance. AI acts like Krishna, providing insights to navigate learning difficulties. However, just as Arjuna needs Krishna's personal counsel, effective education relies on human mentors who offer empathy and moral support. Thus, the future of education will thrive through a harmonious blend of technological empowerment and the irreplaceable essence of human understanding. ChatGPT. Brilliant, huh? So, when people ask me, will AI replace trainers? I sincerely hope not, because I think when we stop learning from other human beings, when we don't recognize that lifelong learning is actually, in some ways, a spiritual journey, then we lose thousands of years of human wisdom. We lose our spirit, and to a certain extent, we lose our very humanity. So I would say, let's use AI. AI is incredible, but let's use it in combination with our humanity. Let's use it to potentiate our humanity, not to replace it. And let's look for a future where AI will not replace trainers, but trainers with AI will replace those without. Thank you very much.